Sorry, y'all. I ended that last video prematurely. The video on black women and, you know, the insecurity that a lot of us tend to, you know, have and cover it up through, you know, like a lot of things. And it's not just us. I mean, everybody's got insecurities, but I'm just speaking on us because that's what I'm focusing on. You know, we cover it up with, you know, you might cover it up with jobs and stuff, and that you got a job and you got, you know, you got all your own stuff, but you know, you still insecure within because you haven't reached in spiritually to grow, and you don't really know what spirituality is. Most people don't. They're relying on all this religion when you should be creating your own religion for yourself, for your own growth. And that's basically what my whole reason for teaching is about, is creating your own. I'm still in the process myself, creating your own religion for your own growth. Because what you put energy into, that's what's gonna happen. Just like these plants right now that we talked about in this other video, the one I did the first time, video 1, these plants were laying down and they drooping. Look at the leaves, how the leaves are drooping, because they putting so much energy into trying to stand up. Because they putting energy into trying to stand up because somebody knocked them down. Somebody came and picked and didn't really prop them back up. So they have to put a lot of energy into that. And look at how the leaves are drooping. Which means we're going to have to stand these are turnip greens. We're going to have to stand them back up. You know, kind of standing back up with some dirt here at the bottom. Yeah, just putting some good dirt around them, standing back up. But yeah, that's what's going on. They putting energy into trying to stand up, and instead of putting energy into thriving, their leaves soaking up the sun's rays, which is not a lot of sun out right now because it looks like it's gonna rain after a while. But instead of putting energy into trying to soak up the sun and breathe in the pores, you know, like inside the stomata. Underneath the leaves, you see the stomata of the plant. That's where they take in carbon dioxide and air. They breathe in plants breathe out carbon dioxide, and they let out oxygen, unlike human beings who breathe in oxygen and let out carbon dioxide. But instead of putting energy into that, they put energy into trying to stand back up. So that's why they sulking. It's what you put energy into that's going to determine your life. What you breathe energy into is that's what's going to manifest for you. That's what's going to create. That's why we're the real creators. You're the true God of your own existence. It's just that you got to get a hold of it, and you have to mold it into what you want it to be with your own hands. And you can do this with your own mind. But in order to do that, you have to let go of worry, all the pain, all the hurt. You have to let go of that. You remember what caused it, but you let go of the pain itself in order to transform. Now, the pain is necessary. I'm not saying it's not. Pain is necessary to transform, but don't hold on to it. And that's what a lot of us tend to do, is hold on to that pain, and it's stopping you from really transforming and being the God of your own existence, or the goddess of your own existence. You create every day, but it's what are you creating? You're creating something mapped out by somebody else because you're not taking control and being the goddess or the god that's in control. But yeah, every day we create. I want you all to take a look at our compost pile over here. And this is our garden, as y'all saw in the other video. Take a look at this compost pile. This is our compost pile. As you can see, we have the brown stuff and we have the green stuff. The green stuff always has more nitrogen in it than the brown stuff. The brown stuff is more carbon. The brown stuff is what's transforming the nitrogen. And the nitrogen transforms the brown stuff. So as you can see, you need depth and you need life. in order for transformation to take place. The carbon represents life, but also represents death. Also, in the plant kingdom, all this carbon is more dead than the stuff that that's more nitrogen. Because once the nitrogen leaves, once you see the nitrogen seeping away, that means it's dying more and more. Stuff that has a higher carbon to nitrogen ratio tends to be more brown, more carbaceous. It's harder. Stuff that's got more of nitrogen, it's more green. It has more greenery in it. And so, but you need both of them in order to have good soil, your carbon and your nitrogen. What this gonna do, the carbon heats up all the stuff that's got the nitrogen in it. The carbon is what's keeping it hot, and it's cooking the soil. Really, this green stuff should be under the brown stuff so it can cook in a certain sense and compost and create faster compost. But yeah, that's how compost piles. A lot of times compost piles, you'll notice that they're covered or they're in some kind of barrel where you can turn, once a week in order to balance it out. And you should always spray your compost pile with water. And also, spray your compost pile with water and aerate it. Aeration means to, you turning it to let it get air in all the pores and stuff. Because you have your little microbes that live inside of it. A good compost pile, you'll see it also attracts a lot of worms. And here we have a compost pile turn here, but the barrel's just not big enough, so nobody's really using it. But yeah, back to what I was saying though, a lot of times, the good, the so-called bad is what's helping us to transform. So, but if you putting energy into it, if you putting more energy into that, if you putting your energy and your thoughts into it, then all your energy and thoughts into just the bad, then you're not gonna really transform. You're down yourself. You haven't really gotten past your insecurities that you're dealing with. You haven't really dug deep and gotten past the issues you may have faced as a child growing up. Maybe certain things happened to you as a child that a lot of these women and men have been molested. Men and women have really been molested, and they haven't even dealt with that yet. They haven't even scratched the surface of that yet. And they're broken, and they haven't really, they're spending so much time trying to cover it up that they haven't really dug deep and gotten to the bottom. Earlier in the first video, we saw a ladybug on the plants. I know, one of my friends explained to me, I'm trying to see if this ladybug's still here though. I doubt she's still here though, but one of my friends explained to me that ladybugs in Africa used to represent good luck. They used to symbolize certain good luck, and they were some kind of symbol in Africa, or somewhere in ancient times they were a symbol. So I just need to go and do my research and find out. I know what black and red symbolizes the legba. And in Africa, that deals with your root chakra. It opens the doorway up to communicate with all the spiritual realm, all the deities and the ancestors. So ladybugs are black and red, so that could be what he meant. Just like plants are a lot like, I'll talk about that later. But yeah, you should, okay, you focus on transforming your pain, but don't focus on being a victim of it. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. A lot of these women are putting energy into being victims, and they're not really transforming like they should be. They're not really at the state they should be in, because their mind, they might go from black men to another race of men, but their mind is they still have those insecurities that they haven't dealt with, and these men are taking advantage of it. because they haven't dealt with those insecurities. So I don't care what race you deal with. If you're insecure or if you have problems, you kind of broken inside, you haven't dealt with the certain things you went through as a child, or being, a lot of them are still dealing with the sexism they faced as children. Racism and sexism, a combination, and how they were socialized as children. So when you go to these different men, you haven't dealt with any of that. You haven't gotten past any of that and seen how certain things weren't not working out in your favor. You think you have to change the situation instead of changing yourself. Then you're gonna get used, and somebody's gonna take advantage. There's always gonna be somebody who's gonna take advantage of every little issue you have. Any little problem or little insecurity, not just insecurity, but any issue you have, period, it's always gonna be brought out. You can hide it, you can try to bottle it up, but it's gonna be known. It's gonna be well known. It's gonna be found, because what you're doing, your chakras are attracting to you. Basically, just your energy is attracting to you what's already inside of you, and it may not be in the form that I'm not saying just because you are a rapist or a murderer that's what you attract is another rapist or murderer. No, I'm not saying because you're a thief that you attract a thief. But what I'm saying is that whatever is within you, you're going to attract something of that likeness or something to you. Not just of that likeness. It might be the opposite. You might attract the opposite to you. But you're going to attract it for your own growth. But you're going to see whatever you attract is something inside of you is what you need to deal with. So if you keep on attracting guys that are abusers, well, there's something within yourself. You keep being in the same relationship. Something in yourself is telling you that you attracted that guy for a reason. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing that you attracted the guy. You attracted that guy because you need to attract him. You need to attract him because it's letting you know what you need to do to transform, so you won't have to keep attracting that same thing again. All these things are necessary. All relationships we have are transformational, and they're all necessary for alchemy, for self-alchemy within ourselves and what we need to do. We put ourselves here, as I said earlier, we put ourselves here on this earth in this appearance of this illusion. We put ourselves in this illusion for a reason, so we could pass the test. And so all of this is necessary. That's why I don't condemn people. I know how you have people that say, oh, well, you attracted him, watch what you attract. You can't watch what you attract. You got to watch yourself more than you watch what you attract. Because really, the person you attract ain't the scary person. The scary person is you. And they'll condemn these people. They'll say, oh, well, you attract that into your life, so don't complain to me. You keep going to the same guys, so don't complain to me. The reason they keep going to the same guys is because that guy's supposed to be in their life for alchemy. Now, once you finish, you finish. Once you finish with it, then you can move on. Once you finish with that, having to go through that situation, then it's time to move on. People in your life for a reason, season of a lifetime. You attracted that guy for a reason. And it's time for, you to do some work so you don't have to deal with that mess. Perhaps your transformation will transform him. Who knows? But you're not here to transform him. You're not here to transform anybody but yourself. You're the only person that you need to transform. If he leave, he leave. If he doesn't, and he does transform, then that's fine. But I can guarantee you, once you transform, you're gonna attract whatever else you need in your life. If he's still the same way, you don't need him no more. He's gonna go anyway. He's gonna be gone from your life anyway. Once you've learned your lesson from it. But anyway, that's basically what I wanted to say. Last video I forgot to show y'all the compost pile, so I wanted to go back and show you all that. And I'll have some more to add on scientifically as far as these plants are concerned in my notes that I'm getting ready to type up and send out to you all. Based on what we discussed about yellowing leaves, we're going to talk about yellowing leaves and stuff, and we're going to talk about why certain plants look the way they did in the garden, and go into it on the scientific level. like with chemistry and botany, and what certain plants need in order to, you know, get rid of the yellowing, or what, rid themselves of the yellowing. Also, I forgot to mention to y'all, while I was taking the leaves out of the yellow leaves out of the garden beds and putting them in pots instead of just laying them down on the ground. Well, it was explained to me. Now, I'm not saying that you have to always do this, because there's different ways of farming. But it was explained to me that if you have yellowing leaves around a bed, they're going to attract flies. They're going to attract disease. And a lot of times it's true that if you have yellowing leaves, like anything that has a problem within it, as I mentioned earlier, you attract what's inside of you. So anything that has a problem within it is going to attract disease. It's going to attract more problems. So if a plant is diseased, or if it has a lot of yellowing leaves on it, it is going to attract more bugs, because they're trying to get rid of that infestation. That's the way things work naturally. Naturally, certain things are going to try to do you in to get rid of that infestation. Okay, that's just the way nature works. It's trying to get rid of that infestation within you. So, you know, what they're saying is that if you take these yellowing leaves and just put them on the ground, and you pick them off the plant and put them on the ground, it's still going to attract bugs to the healthy plants. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I can understand why they say that. Because if you have stuff that, like anytime you have a plant that's diseased, say you got a plant that's diseased that's not been picked and it's still in the ground and leaves haven't even been picked, that does attract pests. Okay. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention to you. I wanted to mention this to you. I just thought it was a little bit significant. I was supposed to go get me something to eat today, and I left my purse. I wasn't going to even do another video. I left my purse. I was supposed to go eat at Sunshine Health Food Restaurant. No, I ended up leaving my purse. And I caught the bus all the way over here. So I just decided, I guess maybe that was a cue for me to do actually do another video. Make the best of the situation. See, that's the way you do things. You always try to make the best of the situation. And maybe, you know, a lot of times what seems like a downside might end up being an upside, because it's trying to tell you something. Trying to tell you need to go ahead and do what you planned on doing, instead of waiting until you get home to make another video, because you might not make it. Because I know myself, I may not have made the video. But anyway, yeah. So that's basically just, you know, basically I wanted to talk about with you all today. All right, y'all. That's the last video on this particular thing. Peace.